But back to Librex.
Sure.
So what's the founding story? What's the founding principles of Librex?
Sure. So I was on campus as a freshman and I was talking to my friends. Many of them felt like it was hard to raise your hand in class to ask a question. They really felt like even outside the classroom, it was hard to be vulnerable. And the thing you have to understand about Yale is it's not that big a place. Everyone knows someone who knows you, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and people come to these schools. First of all, they're home for people and they want to be themselves. They want to feel like they can be authentic. They want to make real friendships. And second of all, it's a place where people go for intellectual vitality, to explore important ideas and to grow as thinkers. And fortunately, due to the culture, my friends expressed that it was very difficult to do that. And I felt it too. And then I go and talk to my professors. And I remember I talked to one specific global affairs professor, and I was taking his class, and his area of expertise was in the Middle Eastern conflict. And I went to him and I said, Professor, we're almost finished this class, and we haven't even gotten to sort of the reason I originally wanted to take the class was to hear about your perspective on the Middle Eastern conflict. Because something I'd learned at Yale, and this is maybe a sort of a tangent, but I'll flesh it out a bit. Something I'd learned at Yale is that you can learn all sorts of things from a textbook. And what you kind of go to Yale to do is to get like the opinions of the experts that go beyond the textbook and to have those more in-depth conversations. And so that's sort of the added value of going to a place like Yale and taking a course there as opposed to just reading a textbook.
But also interact with that opinion
Exactly.
in person, yeah.
To interact with that opinion, to hear it, to respond to it, to push back on it, and to have that with some great minds. And there really are great minds at Yale. Don't get me wrong. It's still a place of tremendous brilliance.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to this professor, right? And I'm like, I haven't heard your area of expertise. And I'm like, are we going to get to it? What's the deal? And this is during office hours, mind you. So we're one-on-one. Mm-hmm. He says, Ryan, to be honest, I used to teach this area every single year. In fact, I would do a section on it, which is like a small seminar, like breakaway from the class, where he would talk to the students in small groups and explain his perspective, his research, and have a real debate about it, like around a Harkness table. And he said, I used to do this. And then about 2 years ago, a student reported me to the school, and I realized my job was at risk. And I realized the best course of action was basically just not to broach the topic. And so now I just don't even mention it. And he's like, you can say whatever you want, but I'm not going to be a part of it. And it's a real shame. It's a real loss to all of the students who I think came to the school to learn from these brilliant professors.
In that context of these world experts, the problem seems to be that reporting mechanism where there's a disproportionate power to a complaint of a young student, a complaint that an idea is painful or an idea is disrespectful to, or ideas creating an unsafe space. And the conclusion of that, I mean, I'm not sure what to do with that because it's a single reporting, maybe a couple, but that has more power than the idea itself. And that's strange. I don't know how to fix that in the administration except to fire everybody. So like this is to push back against this storyline that academia is somehow fundamentally broken. I think we have to separate a lot of things out. Like one is you have to look at faculty and you have to look at administration. And like at MIT, for example, the administration tries to do well, but they're the ones that often lack courage. They're often the ones who are the source of the problem. When people criticize academia, and I'll just speak to myself, I'm willing to take heat for this, is they really are criticizing the administration, not the faculty, because the faculty oftentimes are the most brilliant, the boldest thinkers that you think. Whenever you talk about we need like the truth to be spoken, the faculty are often the ones who are in the possession of the deepest truths in their mind. In that sense, and they also have the capacity to truly educate in the way that you're saying. And so it's not broken like fundamentally, but there's stuff that that's not working that well. It needs to be fixed.
You kind of took my words. That's what I thought you were going to ask me if I think the Ivy League is broken. And that's That's exactly it.
So you don't think, yeah. So on the question, do you think the Ivy League is broken? Like how do you think about it? The academia in general, I suppose, but Ivy League still, I think it represents some of the best qualities of academia.
Yeah, what more is there to say there? I think the Ivy League is producing tremendous thinkers to this day. I think the culture has a lot that can be improved, but I have a lot of faith in the people who are in these institutions. I think, like you said, the administration, and I have to be a little careful because, I've been in some of these committees, and I have talked to the administration about these sorts of things. I think they have a lot of stakeholders, and unfortunately, it makes it difficult for them to always serve these brilliant faculty and the students in the way that they would probably like to.
Yeah. Okay. So this is me speaking, right? The administration, I know the people, and they're oftentimes the faculty holding positions in these committees, right?
Yes.
But it's in the role of quote unquote service. They're trying to do well. They're trying to do good. But I think you could say it's the mechanism is not working, but I could also say my personal opinion is they lack courage, and courage, and two, grace when they walk through the fire. So courage is stepping into the fire, and grace when you walk through the fire is like maintaining that like as opposed to being rude and insensitive to the lived quote unquote experience of others, or like, just not eloquent at all. Like as you step in and take the courageous step of talking and saying the difficult thing, doing it well, like doing it skillfully. So both of those are important, the courage and the skill to communicate difficult ideas. And they often lack them because they weren't trained for it, I think. So you can blame the mechanisms that allow 19, 20-year-old students to have more power than the entire faculty. Or you could just say that the faculty need to step up and grow some guts and skill of graceful communication.
And really administration.
Well, and the administration. That's right. That's the administration.
Because the faculty are sometimes some of the most brave, outspoken people.
Yes.
Within the bounds of their career.
Yeah.